K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and you are watching another episode of Sports Minute. But let me introduce to you my co-hosts for the evening, because I have multiple of them. But, you know, this one guy normally doesn't need an introduction because he's kind of been a staple on the show pretty much since the show started. And that's right, Big B. How's it going tonight?
Hey, it's going good. Most of you guys know Wednesday's poker night for me, and tonight was not my night. Ran into a couple big hands that thought I won, but people got me. So tough night at the cards. Hopefully, sports can definitely wash that pain away.
That seems to be your theme every week when you come on here. You go,
You know,
yep, Wednesday night is my card night, and it wasn't my night. So I'm like, you know what? That's typically your night every week. It just
it is. I run into some big hands. I get some hands I think I can win and try to play big, and just not lucky. Kind of like Isaiah's sport teams, just not lucky.
I'm going to circle it on my calendar the one night you still come up here and you go, tonight was my night. And I'm like, circle this on the calendar. He actually
will be breaking news. Yes, it will be breaking news.
All right. And then, of course, welcome in our newest member of Sports Minute, James Gonzalez. How's it going tonight, my man?
It's going good. I just got off of work, just got home, and I'm ready to talk about the topics we've got. Very interesting ones for sure.
Definitely some very interesting topics. And then the man that we call Mr. Delusional 2.0, who's actually on time tonight. I cannot believe this. Mark your calendar, people. He is here on time. He's here, and it's Isaiah Leong. How you doing tonight?
Well, I am here on time. Typically, I'm not here because, I'm typically coming in the middle of the program because I'm at work, but I didn't have to work tonight on a Wednesday, which is very weird and very not normal for my work schedule. So that's good. So hopefully, Wednesdays and Thursdays are my new off days from now on. I'm really hoping that's the case, but we got a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. Looking forward to the entire show. And hopefully that one of our guys from MI6 doesn't come on in the middle of the program and chews my butt out if I say something stupid. But I'm really excited today because Troy Aikman's going to ESPN, and I wanted that to happen for a while now. So I got my wish. I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling great. And, yeah, let's do this, man.
So not only do I have to – sometimes I was lucky enough to where I didn't have to listen to Troy Aikman announce Sunday games. But now we're going to have to every single Monday. So now I can't get lucky enough to where I'm like, crap. So
what's going to be better? Listen to Troy Aikman talk Monday night games, or still listen to the Manning boys do their little Monday night spiel?
You know what? I would rather listen to the Manning boys.
Those shows have been great.
No doubt. I would
even if it's Al Michaels with Troy Aikman.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely listen to
I'd rather see Tony Romo and Al Michaels together.
I'll tell you, if Tony Romo could announce every single one of the Packer games, I would definitely be okay with that because I could listen to him announce anytime because he is such a phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
And just because Chris isn't back, Troy Aikman's still a better quarterback. Tony Romo's still a better quarterback than Troy Aikman.
Yeah, you almost flubbed that one.
I did. I flubbed it. I did flub it.
All right. So why don't we go ahead and we can jump into our first topic of the night. So our first topic of the night, and I'm not going to lie, when I saw this, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me because we saw the contract that Bryce Harper signed. Okay, when Bryce Harper signed that contract, it was huge. When Giancarlo Stanton signed his, it was huge. The Nationals offered Juan Soto $350 million, and he turned it down. He said, no, $350 million is not going to be enough. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. you're turning down a $350 million contract. He's looking for a $500,000 contract. So, Big B, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on Juan Soto turning this down?
This is why we're in a current lockout. This is why we struck last time when, 96, 97, whatever. I honestly can't believe it. I mean, my boss came to me and, told me I was going to get $40 an hour and I turned it down. I would hopefully would get fired afterwards. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, players talk about playing for the love of the game, stuff like that, playing for the fans. But again, the owners are the ones shelling out this kind of money, and then they turn back and they, are talking about, oh, we need to lower the salary caps. Well, stop sending out this type of money. I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, when I saw he turned down the contract, I'm like, what? I mean, and then he wanted a $500,000. I mean, or $500 million, whatever, a year. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm kind of speechless. I just, because I mean, the players need to get paid, yes, but I mean, again, you just got offered a nice contract that guarantee any of us right here now, if our job came up and said, hey, we're going to pay you $100 an hour to do your job, we're going to jump on it in a heartbeat, so that's just overvalue you yourself if you think you're worth more than that. I mean, there's nobody in sports that's worth that type of money in any sport. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous, and that's why we're currently in a MLB lockout, I think. So that's my thoughts.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to agree with you and say this is the reason why we get in these lockouts. This is the reason why they do, because the smaller market teams say, let's lower the salary cap and let's not allow them to pay the luxury tax to get all these big-time players, because these players come in, they want these massive contracts, and the small market teams can't pay it. But these big market teams can go, you know what? We'll pay whatever they want and we'll do it. And the small market teams go, okay, now we're screwed because now we can't get anybody good. And then we do, and then we have to get rid of them because we can't afford to pay them.
This is why NFL honestly has probably the best salary cap system around. I mean, basketball is kind of there, but they still let people go over the salary cap, pay a tax. This is why I think NFL has the best, maybe hockey has the best salary cap, because it's, it's there. You pay more, then you're going to be fined. This is what baseball needs. Baseball needs a salary cap.
Yeah, but the difference in hockey, though, is you can actually borrow from another team. Is like, which is really the only difference. But all right, James, what is your thoughts on Juan Soto turning down this massive contract?
The contract offered reminded me of the contract that Fernando Tatis Jr. signed. And I didn't think he was going to sign that. It was sort of a hometown discount contract where it was a lot of years, but not as much money as you should be making compared to your players in the same position. Or whoever makes the most, you try to top them. You try to one them, basically. And that's what Juan Soto's trying to do here in 2025. Scott Boras, his agent, he always goes all out for his clients and gets the big money contracts, and it always hinders teams so bad. It's good for the Nats right now that Soto's getting arbitration for the next 3 years because he's getting $15 million a year. But that time will come up, and I don't think he'll stay around. I was looking at the team; he's the third best paid player on the team right now. But I can't see him staying. I think a major market will pay him what his agent and what Soto's looking for. I think he'll get at least $490 million on his contract, maybe, because inflation will go up. Everything will go up. So it might be a little less years, but more money when you think about it. And he's only going to be 26, I think, in 2025 when he's a unrestricted free agent. So he'll probably get like a 10-year, 11, 12-year deal. I think like 490. Maybe he'll get to that 500 million mark, and just be aware because it like Mike Trout right now, he's making the most. I think it's 37 million a year, and he still has about I think 8 or 9 more years left on his deal, and the numbers just keep going up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Soto's going to get in the future.
So, you want to talk about a hometown discount, though? Now I know you're talking about how Tatis Jr. had a hometown discount. Let's not forget about Ronald Acuna Jr., who when he signed with Atlanta, they gave him like a 5 to 6 year deal for $100 million. So he gave them a heck of a hometown discount.
That means later on he'll want what he's due.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, like that's a heck of a hometown discount.
Yeah.
Now I can't wait to hear Isaiah be like, "Yeah, ask for what you want." All right, Isaiah, go ahead.
Exactly. Ask for what you want. This situation, I don't blame Juan Soto for turning it down because like James said, inflation is just keep gonna go up and up and up, and there's like a new TV deal that's coming into Major League Baseball. So by the time like 3-4 years from now, we're gonna see players getting 500 million, maybe even 550 million, 600 million, maybe because of these massive TV contracts that are coming in. So I am not surprised that he turned it down. I just think that he knows that the money is just going to keep getting higher and higher and higher in the game of Major League Baseball. And also this reminds me of this has me thinking this as well. And that is, I don't think Juan Soto is going to stay long-term with the Nationals. I think he wants to be a Yankee. I think he wants to be a Philly. I think he wants to be, a Met. I think he wants to
say the Phillies.
Yeah, I'm saying like small or big market teams. Like the Nationals are a team that, they are a team that's in the NL East, but they're not really that big market type of a team. So I think that's also another reason why he turned it down, just because, he wants to go play in the Bronx. He wants to play in Fenway with the Red Sox, or he wants to go to Citizens Bank Park and play with the Philadelphia Phillies. So it gives him options. If let's say you get that deal done, right? You're locked into 13 years or 10 years or whatever it was, 13 years, I believe it was. You don't have like an opt-out clause. You got to stay there. But if you turn it down, it gives you options. It gives you flexibility. Plus, you can get paid more in the coming years if you continue to perform at the level that you're performing right now. So I totally understand this move for Juan Soto. He's not taking a hometown discount like a Tatis did, like a Acuna Jr. did, and also like Buster Posey, who I believe he signed for like 10 years and $98 million. That was his contract, which was a total bargain for when he signed his extension with the San Francisco Giants after 2011.
I'm not surprised that you're saying that. My problem that you're trying to say is you're mentioning the Phillies, man, and the Phillies have a massive contract going with Bryce Harper. Let me ask you, how'd that turn out? That hasn't turned out very well for you. That hasn't brought you a championship in Philadelphia, and so now you're talking about they're going to fork out all this money that they've already forked out for Bryce Harper, and now you're saying that they're going to fork out all this money for Juan Soto. I don't think that's going to happen, man. I definitely think if Juan Soto ends up leaving the Nationals because the Nationals won't give him what he wants, you're going to end up seeing going to a team like LA or New York. Those are the teams you're going to see him go to because they're going to give him what he wants, and they can because they have the money. The Dodgers taunt their money because they know they have it, and they can.
All right, so I looked up the top salaries here going into this upcoming season. We'll just cover the top 10. James, You got it right. Mike Trout top 12, 426. Number 2 kind of surprised me. Mookie Betts
Oh yeah,
12
massive.
at 365.
Big deal.
Francisco Lindor 10 for 341. Tatis Jr. 14 for 340. Bryce Harper 13 for 330, overpaid.
He's fifth.
Yeah, he's fifth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Giancarlo Stanton 13 for 325, which originally, if we remember, he signed with the Marlins on that deal. Corey Seager, who signed this year, $10 million for 325. Garrett Cole, 9 years for 324. Manny Machado, 10 for 300. And Nolan,
Arenado?
8 for 260.
Mm.
And then Melky Cabrera, because there was 2 tied, as 8 for 248, which he'll be a free agent in 2024 in a couple years. But all those other deals are going to be, almost 2030 is when most of these deals are going to be up. I mean, just think what the going rate's going to be, 2025 for a stud.
And let's not forget, because you mentioned Nolan Arenado being in the top 10.
Yep.
And let's not forget, the Rockies are paying some of his salary because somehow the Cardinals pull off the hype of the century by being like, "Will you trade us Arenado?" And they're like, "Yeah, but I don't know. We want something." And the Cardinals, okay. How about the Rockies? How about you pay us to take them? The Rockies go, "Okay, deal." I'm like, seriously, it's like the heist of the century. I swear to God.
Yep, they're paying a pretty big chunk of that too, I believe.
Yeah, and so I'm like, how do you go from wanting to trade a big time name to getting a lot to being like, yeah, I'll trade our main player on the team and we'll give you money to take him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now. You're going to take this money? Oh my God.
Let's see if I can find. So the Rockets trade Nolan to the Cardinals, and they also sent $51 million to pay for it.
Exactly. The Rockies paid the Cardinals $51 million to take Arenado. And so I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That is like a freaking Bill O'Brien or what are I completely it's like one of those deals.
Yeah.
I'll trade you DeAndre Hopkins and you just give me David Johnson.
That just reminds me of the scene in Moneyball where Billy B's talking to Justice and he's like, "Well, remember, you're paying me X amount of dollars." He's like, No. The New York Yankees are paying
half your salary.
Yeah, New York Yankees are paying that to play against them. So just think how much that means, how much you mean to them, And they kind of thought there for a second. But, yeah, the contracts are just outrageous. I mean.
All right. How about we go ahead and jump into our next topic, which is actually on the NBA side. And the reason I brought this up is because there's actually people are out there swirling right now saying that the year that John Morant is having, which let me tell you, John Morant is having an MVP season. Like, this dude is absolutely lighting it up this season. And people are saying if he continues to play like this, the Grizzlies have a shot at making the finals. Now, I would personally say no personally, but there are people who are out there saying he's playing good enough that they believe the Grizzlies could make a run. So, James, I'll start out with you. Do you agree with this statement that even though Ja Morant is playing at an MVP caliber level, that the Grizzlies actually have a shot at making a run at the finals?
I'll disagree. Last season, if you recall, they lost in the first round to the Utah Jazz, but they made it somewhat of a series. Mm-hmm. And that was very important for them as they go step by step. I think their ceiling is probably the second round. maybe they can make a move and get into the conference finals if either the Suns or the Warriors don't make it. You throw out Utah because they're having issues within the locker room with Gobert and Mitchell, and something's bound to give with that. One's going to leave, probably Gobert. At any rate, yeah, the ceiling I think is for them to make the second round or be like the Hawks last year and somehow make the conference finals. But no doubt about it, guys. I'm happy for them. They're third in the West, difficult West, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do you have John Morant, but you got a veteran presence like Steven Adams. They had Jonas Valanciunas, that was that veteran presence. They traded him. But you also have Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks from the outside, Brendan Clark adding rebounding, Tyus Jones as a great point guard, Kyle Anderson, slow-mo. He's a really good player with the Spurs back in the day. And then D'Anthony Melton from the outside, killing title, is a great player as well from overseas. So with all that being said, they're real deep as well. And that's what I love about that. But there's no doubt Ja Morant's becoming a superstar before our eyes. And it's so good. The thing is, too, the nickname always bugs me with Utah Jazz, Memphis Grizzlies. I wish there would be like a trade one day, but of nicknames, right? So the Utah Jazz should be the Utah Grizzlies. The Jazz should be the New Orleans Jazz, like they were before they moved to Utah. And then Memphis be called the Blues. I think that'd be awesome. It would make more sense with all these teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
I like the Blues. That's kind of nice.
But you know what? The one thing that I do agree with you on, as you're talking about the Jazz, especially with kind of the locker room stuff that they have going on, if it comes down to it, obviously the Jazz are going to be like, Gobert, you have to go, because there's no way they're going to get rid of Donovan Mitchell. There's no way they're going to,
unless he wants out.
But they're going to hold on to Mitchell, and they're going to be like, Gobert, you go. Donovan Mitchell, you stay. Because they can build a team around Donovan Mitchell before they can build a team around Rudy Gobert. Now, that's why personally for me, I'm with you. The Grizzlies should not be concerned about the Jazz. The two teams that the Grizzlies really should be concerned about are the Suns and the
Warriors.
Yeah, and the Warriors. It was there. But the Suns, though, we know that Chris Paul is out for like 6 to 8 weeks because of his thumb. Now, that could really hurt the Suns as far as seeding wise.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that Chris Paul will be back in time. Potentially, he should be back in time for the beginning of the playoffs. So once he's back, then the Phoenix Suns are going to be really, really good again. But Isaiah, I'll go to you on this. Do you believe that the Grizzlies can actually make a NBA championship run?
Isaiah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You guys got me there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was frozen for a little bit. I didn't know if you guys could hear me or not. But in terms of the Grizzlies, I don't think the Grizzlies can make a run because I really believe that the Grizzlies, like James said, they are another star away from actually making another run to the finals. You look at all these teams right now in the NBA, like especially the top contenders. You look at Phoenix, they have Devin Booker, they have Chris Paul. You look at Milwaukee with Giannis, Drew Holiday's in there as well. Plus Chris Middleton, you can't forget about him. Then you look at the Sixers with Joel Embiid and James Harden. Brooklyn, they've got that big three.
But that's a different conference, though. So in order for them to make the NBA Finals, they would not have to go through the Bucks or the 76ers. They would only have to go through the Warriors or the Suns.
Oh, yeah, the Warriors as well. They got, I'm sorry. I kind of lost track of the West teams. I was
You know what, though? It makes sense on the map if Memphis and New Orleans move to the Eastern Conference, and Seattle and Vegas would be in the West in the future. It makes sense in the future.
I just had to throw that out there, though, to let Isaiah know that the Bucks and 76ers have nothing to do with the Grizzlies making the NBA Finals.
Here's the Mississippi. They're over here. Oh, wait. No, they're not. It doesn't make sense, right? Memphis is way over here.
And then, I mean, you look at the Warriors, too, in the West. Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins is emerging. And then they have, Jordan Poole, another guy who's emerging. I just think right now in the NBA, to be in serious contention form, you got to have at least 2 superstars on your team. And, they've got Ja Morant right now, and Ja Morant is balling out. But I kind of liken them to the Mavericks from a couple of years ago, where it was only Luka and a bunch of supporting pieces, and they always get bounced out of the first round. And I think that's right now their ceiling. Until they get that other star, I can't say that they'll make it to the NBA Finals, despite how Ja Morant is playing right now, just because in the postseason it's going to get slow. It's going to get slow paced. It's going to be physical. It's going to be grinded out type of basketball, and that they're going to have they're going to have a lot of time to focus their attention on Ja Morant. And when Ja Morant gets doubled, when he gets tripled, you're going to have to get Dylan Brooks. You're going to have to get Jaren Jackson and other players on the Grizzlies to be able to step it up and beat you. And I just don't see that for the Grizzlies right now. I think that if you take away Ja Morant, which I think will happen in the playoffs, I don't know if that supporting cast can lift the Grizzlies on top. I just don't think so.
Well, we know that they got bounced last year in the first round, but let's keep in mind, last year they were not as deep of a team. This year, they are definitely a deeper team than they were last year. That's why I'm not saying that they're going to make the NBA Finals, but I'm saying they would have a better chance of making a run this year than they did last year, because this year they're definitely a deeper team. So, Big B, I'll go to you. How about you?
Playoff time's a different kind of game. I mean, we see it in hockey, we see it in football, basketball, baseball. You get hot, especially in basketball and hockey. If you get hot at the right time, you can make a run with literally no superstars, but you look at Phoenix, you look at the Warriors, if you can stop the Warriors from shooting threes all the time, you might have a chance. But the teams nowadays are just built around 2-3 superstars, and if Memphis can get hot, I can see them making a run. But they should get past the first round, maybe battle the second round. If they can, I guess if they can skate through the first and second round, then hey, the least amount of games you play, the better off you're rested. So if they can go in and get a sweep in the first 2 rounds or lose one game and still win it, then better off to them, but you're going to have to stay hot. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Yeah. So we have a few comments rolling in here. So Ishmael saying Matt Olson is the top free agent in 2025 as of right now. And then Tim Hendricks is also saying if a team can make the conference finals, they can make the NBA finals. I do agree with that. But if you remember last year when the Hawks made the conference finals, they kind of made it a good series, but everybody kind of knew that they were outmatched. Everybody knew that. And so when it came down to it, I think people were actually rooting. I'm not going to lie. I think people were actually rooting for Atlanta to actually make the finals.
Yeah.
But they were outmatched, and it definitely showed. And yes, Big B, you're correct. When teams get hot, and basically in any sport, it can happen. It can definitely happen. Think about, and I hate to say this, but think about last year with Braves and 6. It was a team that at the All-Star break, they weren't playing all that well. And the little trades that they made, they got hot at the right time, and they ended up winning it all. So in sports, it all depends on getting hot at the right time. So if you can get hot at the right time, you can win it. You can. You just have to get hot at that right time.
James, I gotta give you credit. I forgot Tyus Jones was even still in the league, and he's from Minnesota. So
yeah, and he's been very important with the.
No, he's definitely a good 6-man
point guard. And to me, the playoffs are all about matchups too. I was looking at Memphis right now would be playing a tough Nuggets ball club that are still without Jamal Murray. I don't know if he's even going to play this year, honestly. If Murray doesn't play, then that should be a real even series. But if Murray was playing, I would still have to give the favoritism toward Denver. They're just a better team, but seeded wrongfully, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, and don't forget about the Lakers too. I mean, grinded out series first round.
But they would play the Warriors and Suns.
Isaiah, I thought you gave up on Lakers. You waved the white flag on them.
I thought you gave them up.
Isaiah.
Your 70 plus win team is not panned out. Okay, so you've already waved the white flag on them. I'm sorry.
So stop talking Lakers.
Keep warm and burn that shirt, Isaiah.
Oh.
All right. So let's go ahead and move to our next topic. We're going to hit on a little bit of the NHL. And we're going to talk about the Arizona Coyotes, which the reason we're talking about this is because what NHL team basically gets booted out of their stadium for lack of payments because they can't pay rent at the stadium. They can't pay any. So why are you even still a franchise? Like, you want to go play at a college arena because that's the only deal you can make because you can't pay. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I guess my question is, do the Coyotes stay or do they dissolve as a franchise? And so, Big B, this one I'll definitely start with you on. What do you think? Do you think that they stay or do you think they actually dissolve as a franchise?
I honestly think before we expanded to Vegas or even Seattle, they should have took and ownership should have bought Arizona and moved them to one of those two cities. But somebody needs to step in. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, they're just drawing over 10,000 fans. I mean, they're third in the league in drawing fans. Arizona is a retirement center. I mean, we know a lot of people when they get older they retire down there, so they don't got much money to go to hockey games. And I'm not saying they don't enjoy it, but Arizona, they should move their team to somewhere colder. Bring them to Minnesota, bring them to Wisconsin. I don't know. Let's have two teams in Minnesota. I mean, come on. I don't know, but. Yeah, Arizona the owner needs to sell. Somebody needs to step in and move them out of there.
Because if you're a professional sports team and you can't pay your freaking bills, that how are you still a professional team? That's what I don't understand.
No, James, you're exactly right.
James, what do you think?
Okay, so right now they're playing the Kings and it's 3-2. Usually the Kings are a big draw because of how close they are to Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
But I can see right now the game's on TNT, and there is a tremendously amount of empty seats. And they have the lights turned down, so you can't really see them. That's an old thing the Clippers used to do at the sports arena. So why am I watching? Okay, so I honestly thought it was a sign when they couldn't pay their bills to play where they are now for the rest of the season. So they're playing this season out, and then they're moving to a multiple-purpose arena at Arizona State.
Yes.
And the owner, Xavier Gutierrez, whoever that may be, said the place is going to be packed. It's only 5,000 seats. And I just feel like that's not a professional team. That's not how you make money. Are you going to overcharge for every ticket like the Chargers did in Carson when they first moved to LA? I wonder how they're going to do that with the Coyotes. It's a big sign that they're telling the league, hey, look at how desperate we are to move. And I don't know Quebec, do they have a team or are they looking for one? I can't remember if the Quebec has a franchise, but they
No,
got to.
but
I think
Go
they
ahead.
should move somewhere to Canada. There's got to be other places that are wanting hockey, but not Arizona. And I agree with Big B. Before Seattle and Las Vegas got their clubs, I thought they should have dealt with this Arizona problem and moved one of them. You know, it kind of reminds me of a team, how they're going to play at a college. It reminds me of back in the day when NBA teams would play at colleges, but they would draw more at colleges because they had more capacity than a little auditorium.
Yep.
And they would play playoff games in the 60s and 70s and 50s at these college places. This kind of reminds me of it, but it's just regular season hockey. They're not going to make the playoffs, for the next 3 years. They're one of the worst teams in the NHL. And it's just a sad thing. And the Coyotes just lost to the Kings right now, 3-2. I know the WNBA kind of has this problem. They sometimes play their playoff games at universities because, the rodeo's in town or something like that. But I never thought I would see the day where it happens in the NHL here. And I think it's more of a sign that they should be gone.
Well, the last Coyote game didn't draw over 10,000 fans at where they're playing at. So
yeah, and that's the point. Like, you're a franchise that you barely draw. So let's say you draw, 8 to 9,000 fans a game, and you're like, we're drawing 8 to 9,000 fans. Like, but guess what, guys? We're moving to a stadium next year that holds 5,000 fans, and we're going to pack it out. I'm like, okay, so you're selling 8 to 9,000 tickets now, and now you're losing another 3,000 to 4,000 tickets.
Yep.
You know what would be funny, Ace, if they didn't sell that out either?
That would be hilarious.
And
that would actually be funny.
And they're playing right now in Glendale, Arizona, but where they're moving is Tempe. That's across town. So supposedly they have more fans in Tempe, but less capacity. It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Isaiah, be very cautious. But what is your thoughts on this?
I have a sneaky suspicion that Callan McClurg is watching this, and that whatever I say will end up getting my butt chewed out live on the air. But my thoughts on this situation is this is a very, very sad day. Not only if you're a Coyotes fan, but if you're a hockey fan in general, because it just shows you that this organization, one of the most proudest, iconic organizations in the NHL,
no, they aren't.
No. Like how is this possible? The Coyotes, they're in that arena called the Gila River Arena, if I'm reading that correctly.
Right.
And now you gotta play at a college arena. That it's just disgraceful. It's horrible. I feel bad for the players. I feel bad for the coaches. They're Arizona's only hockey team. I don't know why. Like Arizona, people that live in Arizona, they have the Suns, they got the WNBA with the Mercury, they got the Cardinals as well, and also they got the Arizona Diamondbacks. Can't forget about them. But this is your only hockey team. This is like the Chargers leaving San Diego, or it's like the Raiders leaving Oakland. This is your only sports team in town, and now you're on the verge of losing them. You're not going to do anything because, who cares about hockey? But I feel bad for the fans. Like it's just a very disgraceful time to be a Coyotes fan, as I almost said Diamondbacks, but it's just very sad for the team. It's really sad, and I really hope they get something done. But I feel bad for the players, I feel bad for the coaches, and I feel bad for the front office that they got to work and play in a college arena while everybody else is playing, in these big time lavish areas.
I don't know where you got iconic or historic.
The proudest franchises.
Chris,
in real world.
can you debut our new flag for us that we had made up for Isaiah? please, because that just fits into right when you just had. Me and Chris came up with this new thing. Isaiah's wild takes. He's up to 3 now already.
Yeah, which Big B, if you remember before we went live, he stated, "I'm not going to say any outlandish wild takes tonight."
Yep. So every Isaiah wild take we're going to have, Chris is from now on going to flash that on there so we can keep a count. So Isaiah, you're up to 3 right now. So
yeah. I'm just glad that I didn't butcher a name. I didn't butcher a team's name or arena and coach. I didn't do any of that tonight. So I'm glad I'm making progress.
But Coyotes are not an iconic team.
No, and they're definitely not one of the proudest franchises.
No.
Okay, so all right, so let's go ahead and jump to our next topic here, which our next topic is actually about the USFL. Like, this is not one that we really have to touch a lot on. My basic question for you, because for me, I'm just excited because of the simple fact it's football, baby. It's football. And that's why I'm super excited about it. You know, NFL ends, USFL comes, and the next year you'll even have the XFL. So it's football, baby. That's why I'm so excited for it. So, Big B, tell me, are you excited about the USFL?
Yeah, like you said, it's football. I mean, for me, it's probably my second favorite sport, third if you count wrestling. But why get down to football? I mean, you only get 16 games in the NFL. You get 12 in college with the playoffs. So, I mean, another 6-7 games in the UFL football. You know, then like you said, Ace, next year you're going to get the XFL back. So, you know, we're by next year we'll get about 60 NFL games in. You know, and so it'll be interesting to see, you know, what talent these guys can bring, what entertainment they can bring, rule changes, because I know the XFL has some crazy rules, which I kind of like some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens with this. I can't wait to watch. April is the first game, right?
April 16th. April 16th.
All right. So yeah,
7:30.
I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
It's definitely going to be a lot better than that fan controlled football league.
Sadly, that's back, but
it's back. But I'm telling you, like, it's
horrible. I agree.
It's horrible. All right, Chris, what about you?
Yeah.
What do you think of the USFL? Are you kind of excited for it?
Yeah, it looks interesting. They finished their draft early this morning. It was kind of hard to watch and keep up, but they did it, and they had their draft, and I think it's a 10 game schedule, 12 week.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, it's more football. I think it's going to be good. The older, you know, the original one lasted maybe 3 years, I think it was. So I think a lot of people will be familiar with it a little bit. So I'm excited for it.
Yep, and just so you know, all of our viewers know, a bunch of us did a random selection of our of the team we had to root for. It wasn't we're like, oh, we're rooting for this team. We put every team on a wheel and we spun it. Whatever team it landed on is the team that we have to root for. So this year, I actually landed on Tampa Bay. So the USFL, too. I have to go for Tampa Bay. That is going to be my team. James, your thoughts on the USFL? Are you excited for it?
No. Personally, I'm burnt out on football after the Super Bowl yearly. There's always, you know, free agency and draft talk that comes up. You know, I watched a little of the AAFF. I remember that because they had
the AAF.
Yeah, they had a team in San Diego called the Fleet. I went to a game and I watched a few, and then the league basically folded.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen here with the USFL.
They went bankrupt.
And I may watch a little bit of the USFL at the beginning, but lose interest really quick. Since there's no local teams, they kept it basically east of Colorado, basically. You know, and that helps. Only having 8 teams, you don't want to have too many at too much right away, so that's good. I do like that they brought the old names back from the early 80s. That's cool.
Different cities, but same names, nicknames.
Okay,
different cities.
I just forgot because
No,
yeah.
you're good.
And it's funny too because you get to see Paxton Lynch play again. I don't know who wants to see that, but maybe he can look better. He's playing for Michigan, whoever nickname that is.
Panthers.
Yeah. So we get to see Jeff, Mr. 7-9, Fisher coach again. I'm pretty sure everybody wants to see that. Like I said, the uniforms look decent and simple, especially the New Jersey Generals. It reminds me this league, when they came in, and then when they were signing all these college players. There's a great 30 for 30 on that, by the way. They had, Herschel Walker, Steve Young, Jim Kelly, straight out of college. Well, none of those types of players are walking through this door. So there's no really credibility to this league, sadly. But it is good for those players who couldn't make the NFL rosters. They have a chance to play. And then I noticed all these quarterbacks are getting drafted that were really good in college or were big names, and they're getting a chance to play as well. So I guess that's really good for, all those players that couldn't make it, and they get to live out a little glory. So I guess I'm happy for them in that perspective.
What's interesting too, real quick, is that the college players are not draft eligible, but they're still eligible to not only play in college but in this league too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, Isaiah, your thoughts on the USFL?
I'm very excited about this because, with the impending situation in baseball right now, we don't know what's going on there. There might not be any sports to watch after the NBA finals are over from June until like August. So this is like a little sport that, helps you bridge that gap from May until, July, August, until the NFL starts. So I think it's really good. I'm looking forward to it. I know that when we picked my team, that Ace picked for me was the New Jersey Generals, which for some reason reminds me a lot of that General Dollar commercial on TV. I don't know exactly what it is, but every time I think about the New Jersey Generals, I think of that General commercial. But I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, the teams, I can't like James said, 8 teams. I think it's good. You don't want to have too many teams to start out, which would confuse a lot of people. I think 8 is good, and I just can't wait to see guys that either struggled in the NFL their first time around or never made it to the NFL. I get to see them perform on the field, and who knows, maybe those guys will impress and the NFL teams will bring them onto their teams. You look at that guy that plays right now for the Panthers as their backup quarterback. He was cut by a lot of NFL teams. He went to the XFL, he balled out, won MVP, I believe, and then now he is the quarterback or the backup quarterback for Matt Rue's Carolina Panthers. So it gives them an opportunity to
PJ Walker.
Yeah, PJ Walker, that's right. PJ Walker, that's right. He gives them an opportunity to shine and potentially get picked up again. So I like it. I think that I hope this league goes well, and definitely will be tuning in.
All right. So we can jump to our final thing, which is actually one of Ace's mini games. Now this one, Big B, I know you've played this one in the past. This one's actually kind of fun.
All right.
And this one's called Pass, Fold, or Hold. And so basically all it is that when I ask you this particular question from this particular sport, if you're not quite sure, if you're like, 50-50, then you say pass. I'm going to pass on that. I don't want to answer it because I'm not sure. If you're like, okay, absolutely not, I don't agree with that, you're going to say fold. If you're like, nope, I do agree with that, absolutely, you're going to say hold. So it's that simple. Pass, fold, or hold. That is the 3 choices you have. And so, Big B, our first two questions that we have pertains to the NFL. They're NFL questions. So the first question that we're going to start out with is that we know that Joe Burrow is the quarterback for the Bengals this year in the AFC. They made the Super Bowl. So this one starts out with Big B. Big B, the Bengals are now the team to beat in the AFC going forward.
Ooh. So if I don't agree with the topic, I fold it, right?
Yes, if you don't agree with it, you say fold. If you agree, then say hold.
Fold.
If you're not quite
50-50.
sure, then you say pass.
Oh man, that's right now I'm gonna fold because I want to see what they do in the offseason. But I mean, the the Chiefs, the Bills. You know, I'd even throw the Patriots in there a little bit. Tennessee, the Colts. You know, those teams are healthy. Cincinnati's gonna have a hard time, so I'm gonna fold just a tad. You know, I think.
Okay. Chris, are you going to pass, fold, or
Yeah.
hold?
I think I'm going to pass. I kind of agree. I mean, I think they can go far, going forward.
So
but
pass, just so you know, pass is 50-50. Pass is you're not quite sure. So
right,
so
I
there's
don't
pass,
know.
then there's fold or hold. So you're going to say pass on that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Okay. James, pass,
I agree.
fold, or hold.
I agree with Chris. Yeah, I'm gonna pass and agree with Big B as well. I want to see what they put around Joe Burrow next season. I want to see if they improve that offensive line. They can even make the defense a tad bit stronger. So I'm gonna pass for right now.
Okay. Isaiah, pass, fold, or hold?
I'm gonna fold because I think the Bengals were a fluke. I think they were a one-hit wonder. I like Joe Burrow, but it's the team around him that really has me worried. The offensive line, the defense, and like Big B mentioned, you got the Chiefs, the Bills, the Patriots potentially in that mix. Tennessee went healthy. Even I'll throw in the Raiders too. James's Raiders with Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr, and also the Chargers with Justin Herbert too, and potentially Denver, maybe with Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? But I think the AFC is going to be a lot better next season. So I got to fold. I think Cincinnati was a one-hit wonder.
I'm glad you didn't say the Jags.
So he is he's like immediately on the folding. Like he's like, nope, I'm folding. So he's definitely not there. All right. So Big B, the next question is, and this is still an NFL question. I think James will like this one because this does pertain to his Raiders, and there's a lot of rumors surrounding this. So Big B, the question is, Derek Carr will remain a Raider.
Ooh, God, with so many topics on quarterbacks moving. Oh, I'm gonna hold on that one. I think he's gonna be a Raider next year.
Oh, okay. So he's got to hold. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold. I mean, you got a good backup, but I don't think you have a solid backup. So I think you hold.
All right, so you're saying hold. All right, James, you being the Raider fan, are you going pass, hold, or fold?
There's so much speculation, so much going on Twitter whenever he has a bad game, and then when he has a good game, oh, he's our MVP. Right now, I'm gonna say hold. I don't think there's a better option out there right now when you think age-wise, and then what you would have to trade people for. Like Russell Wilson, he's a little older. Watson, you don't know if he's going to play right away because of his legal issues. So you're good with what you have right now. It's just consistency has to be there. And you made the playoffs already with him, not once but twice. So I'm going to hold.
Okay, he's going to hold. All right, Isaiah, are you going to pass, fold, or hold? Isaiah.
Wow, this is tough. You know what? I'm gonna go with everybody and say hold. I'm gonna make it a clean sweep on the hold front. I think Josh McDaniels, if you look at like the reports out there, he took the job mostly because of Derek Carr. Like I know the Raiders have a team built to win now, but Derek Carr was a big reason why he took the job. And there were reports from Jordan Schultz from ESPN that he was laying out plans with Mark Davis about how he was going to make Derek Carr even better than he is right now. So I think McDaniels. His big draw to the Raiders was Derek Carr. So if Derek Carr wasn't there, I don't think he takes the job. And I just can't see him, moving away from Derek Carr without even coaching him one game.
Okay, so those were our two NFL questions. Now we'll move on to the NBA. We have not the NBA, the MLB next. This is for if we actually end up having a season this year. So the first question is, because there's been a lot of speculation about this one. All right, Big B, and the question is, Freddie Freeman will remain a Brave. Pass, fold, or hold?
Oh my God, this is in the best interest for Atlanta. You sign him. I don't know. I've been reading a lot of reports that he's unhappy. Even before the lockout, that he was unhappy. I'm going to pass on this one because I just don't know right now. I really do hope that they sign him, though. I think it's the best interest in the club to sign him. But I'm gonna pass right now.
Okay, Chris.
I believe I'm holding because I don't think he's going to re-sign. I don't know. I felt like after they won, the World Series, that's some stuff was going to change, and like Big B said, he didn't feel right in that position, sticking with the team. So I think he's going to go somewhere else.
All right, so if you think he's going to go somewhere else, you're folding.
Okay, I'm folding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris is folding. He's saying he's going somewhere else. James, Freddie Freeman will remain in Atlanta. Pass, fold, or hold?
I'm going to say hold. I think he's a franchise pillar. I think you have to keep him. I think right now they're just trying to get the lowest amount of money on the contract. So it's not looking good right now, but I just don't think other teams are going to pay a certain amount for someone who is somewhat aging. But I think the Braves should keep him. And if you have to pay a little more, do it, because one day you're going to retire his number, and you don't want the awkwardness of letting him go. And with Freeman being one of your best players and winning a World Series with you, you just don't want that awkwardness.
All right, Isaiah, pass, fold, or hold?
Pass, fold, or hold? This is a very tough question. I might need like 6 bottles of vodka just to get my true, clear answer out of my mouth.
That's the insider.
What was the question again? I was thinking of vodka.
Will Freddie Freeman return to Atlanta? Pass, fold, or hold?
Pass, fold, or hold. I'm going to go with fold. I think he leaves. There's just too much rumors out there that he's not happy with the Braves and their negotiating tactics, and he's not happy with the deal. And there's a lot of reports that just came out, especially from Buster Olney, that there is a belief around the entire league that he's going to be gone once the lockout gets lifted. So I think he's gone, and I think he's going to go chase the money because I think this is his final major payday before he calls it a career. So I think he's going to be gone from Atlanta.
All right. Final MLB question. And Chris, you're going to like this question because this actually pertains to the Texas Rangers. We know that the Rangers have made a lot of moves this offseason. They've signed some big-time names. So the question is going to be, Texas Rangers will be a playoff team. Big B, pass, fold, hold.
You know what? With the moves they made, if they can gel, I'll hold on them. I think they can make the playoffs.
All right, you're going hold, Chris?
As much as I want them to make the playoffs, I think I'm going to pass just because that it's too hard to tell. But I do think they're going to improve a little bit. with the players we did sign and some player movement, but I don't know about a playoff run.
Well, you
just
can't be
making
much
it.
worse than last year.
True.
You can't be much worse than last year. All right, James, you going past
You could be the Diamondbacks.
You know what's sad? The Angels last year lost a lot to Texas, so it's like it ain't gonna matter how Texas is. We're still gonna lose a lot of games to them. Anyway, I would fold right now, though. It was funny because I thought, okay, off-season moves. In September, October, I said, you know what, Texas really needs to shore up their infield.
And they
And
did.
you know what? They really did. They paid a lot, but they really did. You have Garcia in center field. He's like he's a better acting Yasiel Puig. He doesn't do stupid stuff on and off the field. So I really like Garcia, even though he's a rival. I still think they're maybe 1 or 2 years behind, but they did trade for some young pitching as well when they got Gallo from going to New York, but they got some guys back and they made other trades as well. I still think they're a year or two away, but progress will definitely be made. But I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Okay, so you're there.
Full.
All right, so then we'll go to Isaiah. Isaiah, pass, fold, or hold. The Texas Rangers will be a playoff team.
Hold, absolutely. I have them winning the AL West right now. I think that they're the
my
best team
God.
right now in the American League West with their moves. You get Seager, you get Simeon, you add that to Adolis Garcia. You got John Gray as well. I think the Rangers, after the lockout ends, they'll probably pick up 1 or 2 more starting pitchers and a couple more relievers. I like where the Rangers are going. I love Chris Woodward, the manager. I think he's one hell of a manager. And when you look at their division right now, Houston's getting older and they're losing a lot of pieces. The Mariners, they're up there, but I can't really trust them right now. The A's, who knows what's going to happen to them.
Whoa.
Fire sale.
Hey, I don't want to crap on them because I have a major interview tomorrow with the A's radio voice, and I don't want to say anything dumb that'll get me canceled.
Wait a minute here. Just earlier today, Isaiah,
You
just
get
a
a first
few
base.
hours ago, I am very confident that the Oakland A's, if they bring back their team from last season and make a few tweaks, will win the American League next season. Chris, that is number 4, please.
All right. Well, we know what he said, so we're going to move on since we're running short on time. There, we're going to go. We're running a little over, so I'll move on. Our final 2 come from the NBA, and our first question is because we kind of talked about this a little bit. So, pass, fold, or hold. The Suns and Warriors will be in the Western Conference Finals. Pass, fold, or hold. Should be.
Well, they both can't be in the Western Conference. Oh, wait, Western Conference. For a second, I thought you said NBA Finals.
No.
Isaiah.
I'm gonna pass just because when it comes to playoff time, I mean, it is about being hot at the right time. So right now, I'm gonna pass, and kind of see what happens.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass just to see what happens. I think it's a little early right now.
All right, James.
I'm gonna hold. I think both are built to get to the final, to get to the conference finals, and one, of course, will make the finals. I think having Klay Thompson back, you got Wiggins, who's playing the best he's ever played, an all-star, and both teams are tremendously deep as well. You got Monty Williams, who everybody loves on the Suns, and I don't think it matters that Chris Paul will be out a while, and then he'll be right back into the playoffs like nothing ever happened. So I'm gonna hold and see both go in.
Okay, so you're saying they're gonna both be in here. Okay, that's definitely something that I'm saying. Okay, that to me right now with the way both teams are playing, even though Chris Paul is going to be gone for a while, for me personally, I would still say hold on that because I just think that these two teams are just too good. I think that these two teams are the best teams in the Western Conference. So I definitely would say right now that the Suns and Warriors are going to be in the Western Conference Finals. I just don't know who else is going to beat these teams. Isaiah, I don't know if Isaiah's still here or not.
He would say the Lakers, so it's better that he's not here for this topic.
Yes, originally he said the Lakers. And yes, Joe,
Yeah.
I did shave. So yes, Joe, I did. So yes. And then our final one tonight, before we go ahead and wrap up the show on the NBA side, is a question about John Morant. And the question of John Morant is John Morant a top 5 player in the NBA? Big B. Pass, fold, or hold?
Well, you guys know I don't follow NBA closely like I used to. But just knowing the guys I know right now, I'm going to fold on that one because he could potentially be up there, but right now I just got to fold. I think there's still a lot to learn from him.
The dude is an absolute monster, man.
Oh no, I
He is a
totally get
monster.
it. I mean, top 5 though. I mean, there's still.
I know.
A lot of guys out there. Yep.
Antetokounmpo is definitely there. Devin Booker is definitely on his way. I'm not saying he's there yet, but he's definitely on his way.
Yep.
Kevin Durant, top 5, definitely.
Top
Steph
10,
Curry.
yeah, you probably got me on top 10, but top 5 is tough.
Kevin Durant is top 5. Kevin Durant's top 5.
No. I get what you're saying. No, yeah, but I'm just saying if you're talking about the question, if you said top 10, for sure he's top 10. But top 5,
it's tough. I'm just saying.
It's close.
Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant,
Curry, LeBron.
Curry.
Giannis.
No, LeBron. I'm not putting LeBron in top 5. F that guy. I'm not doing it.
I don't want to, but I'm like,
I don't want to either, but
putting up great numbers.
I mean,
no. It's definitely LeBron to me still not top 5 right now. No. I could still put 5 guys ahead of him. I guarantee I could. I could find 5 guys in the NBA that are better than him. And don't forget Joel Embiid. He's having
him in there.
He's having an MVP type season. So Joel Embiid is definitely there. Kevin Durant, Antetokounmpo, Curry. Yep. So definitely. All right. Chris, John Morant.
I think I'll pass. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'll pass.
All right,
I don't
James.
follow too much.
Okay, I fold for now because again, there's Embiid, there's Durant, there's LeBron, there's Curry, there's Giannis. There's 5 right there.
Yep.
Right? Even if you have a top 10, I would pass because you can come up with 5 more. That's not John Morant. But
No, you're
I think
telling
in
me
a couple years' time, you give us some time and players retire or they're not as good anymore, then you can put them in as top 5. But I'm going to fold for top 5 for now for John Morant.
So you're telling me that John Morant right now is not even a top 10 player?
No. Well, shoot. See, I would have to come up with 5 more. Like you put in Donovan Mitchell, Embiid, when James Harden is right, Damian Lillard. Who else can I think of? Luka. So there's 10 right, but there's 5 more.
Well,
and then you have John Morant.
You got Rosen and you got
DeMar DeRozan's having a great year. So it's like we want to put him in, but he doesn't have the playoff success yet. So it would really depend on this playoffs. If he starts to win rounds and win series and have some remarkable games, then you can start putting him into the consideration as one of the top 10 players. And I love him, and we'll see. But right now, I'd put him as his jersey number 12.
Ooh.
I'm just saying the dude, like I don't think people give this guy enough credit. I don't think they
Right.
do.
Oh, you're
And-
right.
Because how young he is compared to all the superstars that are above him right now that are older. That's the only reason why.
yeah,
He can easily get that especially if he beats Jokic, that would be like the number 11 superstar that you have in the league. If he beats them, beats the Mavericks, then okay, you could put him in that top 10 easily.
and let's not forget when healthy Kawhi Leonard.
See, yeah, I didn't even count him because, well, he's not going to play this year. I go by season,
Right.
and I didn't even put Paul George or Kawhi Leonard in, but that's because I'm going to be a realist and say they're not going to play this year.
All right. So Isaiah, the final question was, is John Moran a top 5 player?
Ja Morant, a top 5 player? No, he's not. He's top 10 though. With the season that he's having right now, I think right now there's just way too many players that have more experience, and I think that are better than what he or better than him. You think about your Durant's, your Embiids of the world, your Bookers, Lucas. Kawhi Leonard, you could throw him in there. DeMar DeRozan's having a fantastic season. There's just way too many great players right now in the NBA for me to put him top 5. But I would definitely put him top 10 for sure. Maybe number 10, just on the outskirts of number 10. But yeah, he's definitely up there in terms of being one of the best players in the NBA. I'd probably go with him being 10 or 11 at this point. I can't put him top 5, but probably number 10.
All right. Now that's at the point, that was our final question. So now that'll wrap it up, and then we'll do our final thoughts. So, Big B, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is I want to give a shout out. We got a couple viewers on right now to a young guy out in Virginia, Adrian Lattimore, I believe his name is. He won his wrestling state title. The thing with him is he was born with no legs. So I was reading a little bit of the story. I'm trying to reach out to him, see if we can get him on. But I just want to give a little shout out, just to let everybody know, read his story, because if you're thinking you're having a rough time, I mean, just think of what he's having. But just look at his story as a positive thing. Is he was able to accomplish what he did with no legs. So if you're out there wanting to fulfill your dreams, no matter what stage you are at in high school, college, out in the business world, go do it. Go do your best to fulfill your dreams, just like this young gentleman has. So that's my final thoughts for today.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, tuning in. Like the comments and interaction. Just stay with Coast to Coast. We got great things coming, and hope you guys enjoy the network. And we reached 2,000 views. Well over that. So
2,000 followers.
Followers.
2,000 followers. All right. James.
Hey, thanks for having me on, everyone. And, it was a great show. I love the NBA talk. We can always put anyone in the top 10, it seems like. And Isaiah, I saw that shirt. You could keep warm and burn that shirt too, please.
All right. And then Isaiah, any final thoughts?
My final thoughts that it was a great show. Happy to be back with you guys on this program. I want to thank Tim. I want to thank Ishmael. I want to thank Christy for hopping on for tuning in, not hopping on, but for tuning into the show. And the last final thoughts that I have is make sure you guys tune in to MI6 tomorrow. We have a very special interview with Vince Cotroneo, the radio voice of the Oakland A's. It's going to be great to have him on. He broadcasted with Chris's Texas Rangers for a while. Then he moved on to the A's. So baseball historian, and can't wait to talk to him about the A's. Can't wait to talk to him about his broadcasting career, and just can't wait to talk to him about baseball in general, and I'm definitely going to have to get rid of this Dodgers shirt that I'm wearing right now and not wear on to the interview. But going to be fun, man. Going to be fun. Going to be fun.
All right, and then in of course with that, we want to thank everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed another episode of Sports Minute. Tomorrow night, you'll be able to watch another episode of Kicking It with Isaiah and Ace. Don't forget that show. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of great topics tomorrow again. And so for that, I hope everybody has a fantastic night, and we will see you next week for another episode of Sports Minute.